Good morning, traders. Let's have a look at the Aussie and see what trade setups we can find for today. So on the weekly basis, there's a couple of things that are going on, and you can see that I've drawn these lines in already. So the top of this week here, the high of this week, we kind of didn't quite get there, and let's move that on. And this high as well, we were just sort of touched it quickly and then we turned. So this seems to be the area that we need to break for the downside or for the upside. So these are the two levels to watch for this week. What is worrying me is the weekly Dickinson, which is pointing down and moving away from Dickinson. So, this is still a bearish setup. So on a weekly basis, where Dickinson and Dickinson are like this, and where we have Sikuspan below price. This is still pretty much a bearish setup. And I don't think that's playing a role yet. No, that's not playing a role, and that is pretty much a break of that trend. So ideally what you'd want to see is a pullback to test this break and then consolidate and pull up. Okay, so let's have a look at the daily. So from an ichimoku's perspective, the daily is pretty bullish. We're above the cloud. Dickinson is broken above the cloud. We had a twist here, and Kijinson and Dickinson are both pointing up. So this is still pretty bullish. Okay. The levels that we want to watch here are still this level here and this level. So those two levels are still the key levels that we need to break. Okay, if we break to the downside here, then we're going to start attacking this tail here, and we will start, there's a daily gap here as well. Okay, so the big question here, let's just get rid of this one, and let's just get this. So copy that, put it there. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on the bottom. So that's pretty much the channel we're defining. And what I can do is just move, if you move it to there, you'll see I have 1, 2, 3 touches. And if I move it to there, we don't have anything at this stage. But what you'll find is that this will run. So the channel will just get wider or narrower if it continues moving up and keeps building a bigger channel. So at this stage we've got two levels to the upside, but the downside channel line is pretty well defined. And what we did set up is a bit of a hanging man. Okay, so we gapped up, we've got a long tail to the bottom, so there is a bit of a warning here that there is a turn coming. Let's just have a look at the 4 hour. Okay, now on the 4 hour, so we understand we're in a big channel, right? So let's just tidy this up. And if you look at the 4 hour, you will see another pattern forming here. So there it is there, and followed by that. Okay, so within the channel, I now have let's just get rid of that. So within this channel, I now have a rising wedge forming. Okay, and the rising wedge has been backed up with some diversions. Okay, so this is a textbook rising wedge formation that is setting up, and it's on a higher time frame, being the 4 hour. So there is a very high probability of a downward move brewing at the moment. And what I would suspect is we'll get the targets now, but there are a couple of targets to the downside. But obviously first we need to break this weekly support line here. Okay, So get to the hour and that'll give us the levels that we're looking for. Okay, so yesterday we were waiting for a much deeper pullback to this level, which never came. Okay, so from a price action perspective, you can see we rallied on Friday and then we basically just consolidated within a range. There's the range. Okay, and that's all we've really done. Now at this stage, Tencent is down 2.7%, and there's a lot of red around the globe at the moment. So I suspect we're going to be moving to the downside, and the triggers are going to be sort of a break of this range and a break of this wedge. So you'll see if you break this range and we move to the downside, it'll break the wedge, and we should be looking at some areas as follows. We'll be looking at, well, firstly, no, there's no gap there. So this kind of area definitely will be one of the first targets. Then you've got to bear in mind that there is quite a big, there's a daily gap here, and there is a daily gap here. So that level gives way, then obviously we will start targeting these bottom areas here. And if we just put a Fibonacci on this wedge, you'll see that the first target is 50%, which is there, and the second target will be down the bottom, which is the height of the wedge. So that's kind of the setup. I think the upward move is coming to an end, and you can see on the lower time frame we've got a double top here, and we have diversions. So I think your upside move is going to stall, probably a decent retracement, and then we can look for setting up some long-term trades. Now, if I come back to the daily, one of the things that you need to bear in mind when you're trading ichimoku is your first breakthrough of the cloud is often not the long-term trade you want to take. So you often want to wait for it to come and retest the cloud and then start consolidating to the upside and start moving gradually to the upside. And you can check it often. You see here's the first breakthrough of the cloud, and we fell all the way back down. So what you're looking for is, it was a classic setup here. Okay, so you can see we had a break through the cloud, came back, had another break through the cloud, came back to test. So this is the second time, and then broke through the cloud again, and this is the third attempt at breaking through the cloud, and only then did we rally, and then come back to test the cloud, and then move to the upside. So price tends to use a cloud, especially on the daily, as an area where it finds support before it consolidates to move to the upside. Okay, so yeah, that's my trade for the day. I'll be looking for shorts, and we're going to be watching this range with interest. I think we're probably going to gap down below the range. So it's 51700 at the moment. We closed at 51900, I'll call it. So we're already 200 points down, which gives me, so we're kind of at the bottom of the range at the moment. So I would suspect we gap down. If there's any large gap, let's just go to the 15-minute, because this is where you're going to see this set up properly. So a gap down into this area here, it will bounce in the first half hour, and the question is where it will bounce to. So currently we're sitting down here, so it'll, we could bounce to the top of the cloud, or we could bounce even to close a gap. But whatever bounce you do have, you need to look for your lower levels. Okay, and I think the easiest way to do this is as follows. You have that level there, the swing high, okay, which is the weekly level, and you have that weekly level. But what you also have here and this is on the 3 hour, is I have a Brooks gap here, which is 51800. So that could act as resistance. Okay, and then the other area that could act as resistance, obviously this level here, but then the bottom of the last 3 hour candle from yesterday. So those are the two areas that we could find resistance. So a couple of ways to play it. Look for bearish action, price action on those levels, or alternatively wait for a break here and then trade the break. If you trade the break, remember your stop is going to be above the high here. So it's a 500-point stop loss. Okay, so that's my setup for today on Aussie. We'll be looking for shorts, and we'll look for it on the lower time frames. I'll probably be trading sort of a 6-minute time frame today. Anyway, that's the Aussie. Hope it helps, and I'll catch you later.